This is the hallway that runs down the middle of the house. There's a bathroom right here in the middle in which we're going to install a solar tube. Hopefully it'll throw some light into the hallway and we can see something without having to turn on lights during the day. We will install a 10-inch solar tube in this bathroom. There's light in here from a light above the sink, as well as a light near the toilet that also doubles as a fan for the shower. We'll be putting a solar tube just beside the fan in order to throw a little bit of light into the room. This is what comes in the box. There's the lens, flashing. There's the top of the tube that goes through the flashing and attaches to the lens, some fasteners. We've got roof caulking. These are two pieces of tube that lead down to the tube which will go through the ceiling in the bathroom, and there are some lenses. This extra piece here is an extension because I have to do 6 feet from the bathroom ceiling to the roof instead of just the standard 4 feet. The instructions ask for a 10 3/4 hole to be cut in the gyps ceiling in the bathroom, and so out using one of the tubes as a template, I drew a circle and then measured out 10 3/4 just outside of that, cut, and here we have a template for 10 3/4 inches, and I can now position that and cut holes in the ceiling. Here's the template that I drew earlier. It's now resting on the gyprock up in the attic beside some plumbing, and there's also wood framing that I have to worry about. I also see some breaks in the gyprock, which might be a bit of a problem for finishing later. So I'm going to pin it in place, draw around it, and then cut with my jab saw. I've transposed the template onto the gyps and double checked the measurements. Now I'll just use the jab saw. I'm going to start furthest away from those gyprock joints so that I don't stress them too early, and as I get around to them I'll try to slow down and make sure that the gyps isn't falling apart on me. So now I've cut a hole through the ceiling of the bathroom using my jab saw. Next we're just going to check parts for fitting. Then we'll plumb a line down from the roof of the attic, drive a nail through, and then go up on top of the roof to position the flashing and cut a hole with the jigsaw. So here we are on the roof, and you can see that nail protruding. So I'll just use the flashing here as a template, draw around it with some chalk. I'll use a drill to drill a hole just outside that chalk line, and that'll allow me to insert the jigsaw blade, cut all the way around, and then it'll be ready for the next step. So here we have the hole in the roof. You can see almost way down into the bathroom there, and it's ready to go for the next step, which is getting the flashing underneath the asphalt and caulking it all down. So here you can see the flashing. It is tucked underneath the asphalt shingles that are above it, and it is on top of the asphalt shingles that are below it. It's also caulked all around and screwed in with the bottom 4 screws. The instructions suggest lifting up all of the shingles. I was able to just slide it under there, and I figure I don't need the flashing screws at the top. And it's caulked all around, caulked on top of the screws as well. And you do have to leave a little bit of clearance around the top so that any gunk can get out and past the flashing when it's flowing down the roof, if you've got leaves and things that fall. The next step is to insert the top. There's a soft foam gasket that basically is around the top of the SolaTube. I've pushed it into a U shape so that when it goes over the ridge of the flashing, it should get tucked into the plastic that's up here and form a little bit of a seal there before bringing in the screws. So that's important so little critters can't get underneath the plastic here and wrap around and into the tube. After that, we can just put it right into the hole. here. I've put the end of the tube into the ceiling of the bathroom and turn each screw a quarter turn. That holds it in place. I'll now go upstairs into the attic and adjust the alignment between the tube in the bathroom and the one way up there in the hole of the roof. We're looking at the bottom of the tube now. I've been in the attic putting all the sections together and taping it. And it goes all the way up. This is one more joint to finish. And after that I'll go double check the adjustment up on the roof. And we'll be able to put on the lens downstairs in the bathroom and tighten everything up. So back up on the roof, we have the top part of the tube screwed into the flashing, and we'll put the lens on with the appropriately positioned reflector. So there it is, completed on the roof. It's 4:30 in the afternoon here in Bellevue, Washington, and so you can see the shadow is falling to its east. The reflector is up here on the north side, and we'll go have a look and see what it looks like downstairs. After tightening the 4 screws which lock the bottom ring in place and then adding the lens, this is what we have. We'll go to the hallway to have a look at what this looks like. So here we are 3.5 hours later. I installed this myself, so there was no help. And we can see that the hallway is now partially lit from light coming in from the bathroom. So you can get down the hallway to the bedrooms without having to turn on the lights. And as for the washroom itself, you can see that the toilet area needs no lighting at all. It's doing a fantastic job. And even over by the sink, there's enough light to use the entire bathroom without turning on any lights, which is great.